So the boomers, 1946 to 1964. World War II ends in 1945, and it is a pivotal moment for the entire world. It changes everything. And again, we all currently live in the shadow of how the world got reset up, how boundaries got redrawn, how power dynamics shifted after World War II. They are born starting in 1946, 1 year after. Everyone gets home from the war, starts fucking, and begins this new world order. So they have dodged the Great Depression. They have dodged World War I. They have dodged World War II. Again, their cultural impact goes beyond what I could fit in one slide here. So this is boomers, and this is a quote you might hear from boomers nowadays.
And then I told him, just print out a resume and walk in and they'll give you a job.
Couldn't quite get the laugh right. Yeah. You get the idea. So this is boomers. Famous boomers you might know: Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama, Michael Jackson, George Clooney. Wide range of people who've had cultural impact recently. Boomers are kind of like the TV generation because when boomers were born in 1945 and onward, TV went from 0% of U.S. households to 100% so rapidly. Literally in their lifetimes, they saw everyone around them get a TV and it become a huge part of the cultural landscape, and seeing radios decline.
That being said, those are rookie numbers. We all got smartphones in like 2 years.
That's true. That
took them like 2 decades.
Even faster. The greatest challenges they faced in their lives were not World War II or Great Depression. They did have in the 70s, which they would be, they would be somewhere between 20 or 30, that range. Huge rise in inflation. People had long gas lines. This is a beginning of some economic changes we did where we suspended the gold standard and all that stuff. It was the 70s. And then Vietnam, I'm sorry, I don't have that image here, but Vietnam they were old enough to have fought and died in Vietnam. And in fact, many of them spent their youth protesting it. Yeah, Vietnam.
And this is the jungles of Vietnam.
This is not the jungles of Vietnam. I think I have the wrong picture. But it was Vietnam, okay? So, and I found, here, I'll go back to this. So the main thing about the boomers is that this is the fertility rate in the United States. And you can see right after World War II, there's this massive spike. And you can call it, demographers call it the pig in the python, which is like if a python ate a big pig and it's being digested. So in 1970, again, most Americans were between 5 and 23. This is the boomers. And so over their lifetime, they have had outsized impact on everything because they have been so much bigger than every other generation around them. So people that have their beliefs and their worldview and where they grew up with have just had this unprecedented amount of political power. And again, shown here, they have, even today, when they're all relatively old, have still the most political power. When they were born in 1945, they had about 20, 30 years of flat home prices, right, for them to get their jobs and get earning.
Holy shit, I did not realize that.
And then right around 1970, when they hit around 30 years old, boom, it skyrockets. And
do you think that has anything to do with the fact they bought and built all the homes and then stopped other ones from being built? Does that have anything to do with it, Brendan?
Just lucky, I guess. I think just lucky timing. So yeah, right around here is when they started acquiring houses, and that is when they went absolutely off the rails, which is a huge part of why they have all the wealth today. So this is a chart of U.S. wealth by generation starting right now. So right here is basically when they started to get political power. Like when I have the arrow on the chart, is when when the first boomer president comes in.
Okay.
And you'll notice from there, their wealth skyrockets past the older generation, silent generation, and then it goes to unprecedented heights. So we see now that they have more than, Gen X, silent, and millennials combined. Gen Z is not even on this chart.